Hey everybody, so we have some awesome news for you today. We just got the opportunity to partner with the app Fitbod. And for those of you who haven't heard of it, it is a fantastic app that will allow you to have a personal trainer in your pocket on your phone that you have access to at any point in time. It's not a person, it's an app that will take your fitness goals, your health goals, and transcribe them into personalized workouts just for you. They can do home workouts, body weight workouts, they can do full gym equipment workouts. You can actually select the muscles you want to target as well as the equipment you have available, and they will build you a workout based strictly off that, and they'll calculate the time it takes to do that workout. So you can choose if you have 15 minutes, 30 minutes, even an hour, and they'll build you a workout just for that. So we're very fortunate to have this. I've been using Fitbod for a long time and I love them. I love the app. So in regards to our partnership, they've actually made it even better for you guys. If you want to join now, you can type in the promo code MEGAN25. That's MEGAN 25 when you download the app from Fitbod. That gets you 25% off. The annual membership is around $50. So a general partnership with a personal trainer, 1 hour long session is a minimum of $60. So you're actually only paying $50 a year for a personal trainer anytime you want it, as many times a day as you want it. It's fantastic. They have a free edition as well. I've had the paid membership for years and I will never go back. It's fantastic. So I recommend checking them out. If you decide to get it, if you decide to download it, make sure you use the promo code MEGAN25. You'll get 25% off, and you'll also be supporting our podcast because any funds that we get from that transaction go back into our podcast account to download more equipment, software updates, anything like that. So you're helping us too. So it's a win-win, and I know you guys will love it. All right, guys, and here's our show. What is up, everybody? It is Megan James. I'm coming at you live from the Megan James Show. I just want to take a second and thank you guys. I don't know if you follow our social media pages, but legacy_lifestyle_coaching. Check us out on Instagram. I posted a picture the other day thanking everyone for the followers, the subscriptions, the listens, the downloads, everything that you guys have been doing to support this podcast. I just want to give you guys a huge, massive thank you, seriously, from the bottom of my heart. I started this podcast as a way to help local entrepreneurs and people online grow. I want to build a supportive community of people with variety of experiences and niches and, goals that they want to accomplish, with the hope that something that I can give them will help them grow their business or their personal lives. So I found that while I don't know everything, quite a bit of what I've learned can help quite a few other people. And the only way I came across this was reading. I read Tim Ferriss, Elon Musk, Gary Vaynerchuk, Nikola Tesla, just reading all the time, books written by other people. And in these books, they would teach life lessons that I never would have learned otherwise if it wasn't for them talking about their own lives, their own lessons that they've learned. So I primarily have made this podcast as an effort to help get my story out, my experiences, as well as interview other people who can tell their story. So hopefully out of all of this, you guys are getting some value. And if you guys wouldn't mind just leaving us some feedback, either on the Instagram or on our Facebook page, The Megan James Show, either one is fine. We love when you guys can leave us feedback. So if you're not pleased with an episode, why was it? Or if you are wanting more, what do you want? Just simple stuff like this. It really goes a long way. Sorry if I sound out of breath. I just got done working out. Plus, I hosted my first night doing trivia last night. So that's right, guys. You're listening to a quizmaster in training. I'm so excited. Like, you guys might think it's dorky, but I'm hella excited to be a quiz master for a trivia company, hosting quiz nights locally. I love entertaining people. I love having fun. And honestly, the wrong answers that people write on these quiz sheets are like life altering. I have the best time and I get to blog about it. So, when my new venue starts and I'm on my own, free and clear, I will let you guys know, and you can tune in for the blogs and check out that information. So that's coming in the works. And for those of you who are loyal Podcoin followers or subscribers, I'm so sorry to share the bad news with you that Podcoin had its last day this past month in September. If you haven't heard, the Podcoin company ended their company. They said it was a experiment that was carried out, and they were grateful for the turnout and everything like that. But it was just super sad because I feel like I really cultivated a great environment through Podcoin with a lot of people who just wanted to better themselves and were looking for an opportunity to grow. I really feel like it was a great environment. So I'm sad to see them go, but I know there are better things in the works, and I'm out looking for those opportunities now for you guys. Better ways to build yourself and grow your knowledge base. If you guys know of any that's similar to Podcoin, please let us know, because I would happily give them a shout out. In the meantime, today I was actually reading a book, an older book. It's called The Last Lecture. It's written by Randy Pausch, I think is how you say his name. But basically, he was a professor that was diagnosed with like a serious stage of cancer. I don't want to spoil anything, so if you haven't read it, you need to check it out. But he was a professor, and when he was diagnosed with cancer, he didn't know how many lectures he would have left. So he started work on what he called the last lectures, what he would deem his last lecture to be. And he ended up writing a book with that last lecture, and it is life-altering. It just gives some true life advice from somebody who's lived. And I think you guys really should check it out. But out of just reviewing it, I started thinking about where I was 10 years ago. And if you would have told me 10 years ago that I would have found a career, given up on that career, found a new career, and built 3 or 4 companies, and, just done all this stuff, become a quiz master, a podcast host, doing all this stuff, a lifestyle designer, I never would have believed you. 10 years ago, I was still in college. I had just started college. I didn't know what the fuck I want to major in. Hell, I changed my major like 4 times. But by the end of it, I was convinced I was going to be a forensic anthropologist. I knew that was my path. I knew that's what I was going to be. And then I got out of college, and they were like, oh, motherfucker, you just have an undergraduate. You're going to need to have a doctorate. Like, you're going to need your PhD. And I started looking at the prices and knew that already being $40,000 in debt for an undergrad, I was not going to financially be able to support getting both a master's and a PhD. It was just not financially responsible, so I didn't go and get those degrees. I don't regret anything. I'm actually glad I didn't do it because I experienced a lot of life in the process. I bartended my way through college. I've never been averse to taking classes. In fact, I took several courses to grow myself in a variety of aspects and in other niches. So I'm not dissatisfied with where I am. It's just a hilarious story behind it and how I ended up here. And it's nothing like what I thought I would be doing 10 years ago. That's not to say it's wrong. It's not to say it's worse. It's just different. And I think a lot of people get caught up in trying to avoid making mistakes, trying to avoid failure, trying to avoid choosing the wrong path. And they get so caught up in this that they don't fucking choose anything. And they get stuck in this like fear of failure, and they're just stuck in the same place, not doing shit. I can tell you right now, last night, hosting trivia, reading through rounds, I was so far out of my comfort zone. Like, you may not know this, but speaking in front of crowds, putting myself on video, doing live feeds for you guys, this is extremely out of my comfort zone. I get nervous. My palms start to sweat, and it's hard. But I know that the value I have to give is more impactful and is worth pushing through the fear. Because by the end of it, I feel like I can accomplish anything. I feel like I could run a damn marathon, which, based on my my running, I can tell you that I probably would not be able to run a marathon right now. But that being said, I sat down and started to think of 10 things I've learned in 10 years. And I think that some of these could really help you guys. So I'm just going to jump right in. Number 1, base your career choice off of happiness, not money. A lot of the people I went to school with, a lot of the people I went to college with, chose careers in law, in medicine, in all these fields, and they based it off their salaries, their starting salaries. They literally did a Google search on who made more money and decided that's what they were going to major in. That's not going to help many people because you're not taking into account your skill sets, your hobbies, what makes you happy. So a lot of these people got into these careers and were like, holy shit, I'm $200,000 in debt and I hate my job. I'm terrible at it, or I just really don't like it. I'm not happy. I don't feel fulfilled. And it's because they chased the dollar bill. They didn't chase what made them tick, what made them happy. So an important part is just to pick a career based off what you're good at, what you enjoy, what you would do for free, stuff like that, And it can be as outlandish as being a YouTube personality or like running a podcast. Honestly, the options are endless. I'm a lifestyle designer. That sounds like some shit somebody made up because they did. Every career has been made up at some point or another. Somebody just created a definition and it became a career that other people started doing. And it started growing in popularity until no one questioned the authenticity of it. That's all a career is. Make that shit up as you go along, but make sure you're happy. The money will come. If you're happy doing what you're doing, don't worry about the fucking money. Because you'll find that when you have enthusiasm and passion and you're just living through it, people will find you, they'll be attracted to you. It's like the law of attraction. And when that happens, the money will definitely come. So number 2, never work for someone who requires you to sign any agreement or contract requiring you to work for them for some amount of time before you can quit. Or if you leave before that time is up, then you have to pay a certain fee. The reason I say this is because I know a lot of you are probably in the military, you're probably police officers, or you're doing something else that required you to sign a contract, a lot of private investigators even. I will tell you right now, these organizations usually have shitty leadership and toxic work culture. They don't want to fix the problems that are going on so that people actually want to stay on their own accord. So instead, they proposition future employees into slavery, which is exactly what it is. You're stuck for 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years at an establishment that sucks. You get up every day with a pit in your stomach and you fucking hate going into work because the people are just assholes and they don't care because they don't have to care because they know you're stuck there. You get stuck and you don't think 5 years is that long now, but when it's the difference between 25 and 30, a lot of shit can happen in those years. When it's the difference between 21 and 26, a lot of shit can happen in those years. Don't be afraid to fucking say no. Even if you thought that career was whatever it was, what it was going to be for the rest of your life. I've been there, I've done that, and I can tell you, no career defines you. When you start attaching yourself to the identity based off your career choice, you're going to lose. You have to be something more than a career. There's more to you than that. You're made up more of just what you do for a living. And I hope I'm getting through to some of you because this totally fucked me. Signing up to do a job that I thought I would be, doing for the rest of my life at a time when work culture was volatile in the industry. Things had happened. Politicians had been elected. Things were going on. And opinions were moving in different directions. So workplace challenges began coming up. And rather than the organization meeting it at a head, they were trying to do other things. I won't go into detail, but let's just say the work culture got a lot worse. And in 3 years, I was depressed, neurotic, and honestly, if I hadn't been married and had close friends, I would have been a suicide statistic in a heartbeat. I was getting hazed at work. I was getting, picked on, made fun of for shit. I had an at-work injury that I was made fun of by superiors for getting into, and was told it was all my fault. And just, from there on out, any struggle I encountered, I didn't want to talk about it with anyone, because every time I talked about anything, I was hazed or made fun of or just shit on. And I felt stuck because of this culture. I couldn't escape it. And I don't want anyone to ever feel the way I felt. And I don't want anyone to have to go through what I went through of confronting the problem when it became too large and going to the main superior and saying, hey, this is what's happening, and then being tossed out like trash. It's like when a child realizes that one of his 60 G.I. Joes is missing a leg, and he's like, oh, well, fuck, it's broken, and tosses it in the trash pile and moves on to the next. That's exactly how it felt, and to this day still brings me pain. I don't want anyone to have to go through that in any career ever. So pick a career based off goodwill. Pick a career that's offering you something, but choose one with appropriate work culture. If you sit in that interview and you feel like tensions are tight, you feel like you don't belong, you feel like they're judging you, and you don't feel welcome, then ask for another interview, or ask for a sort of ride-along day where you can ride along with them or sit along with them while they conduct their work, so you can truly get a feel for what a normal work day is like there before you accept a position there. These are just things that I wish I would have known about before I got into my mess. So I hope they help you. So moving on to number 3. This is a big one. It's okay to say no to family members or close friends who are toxic, or even cut them off altogether. No one is entitled to your time. It's a privilege to those who are worthy of it. Just because someone is family or you've been friends since you were children doesn't give them a free pass to use you, manipulate your time, or be a dick to you. If someone's causing you pain, if someone makes you feel like shit when you visit with them or get off the phone with them, if they're just negative, if they don't support you, it's okay to cut them off. You don't have to be an asshole. You could even explain to them, hey, I'm not going to be spending that much time with you anymore because I don't feel that great about myself when I'm with you. I think we're just at different places in our lives. And I appreciate you offering your opinions on certain matters. I value you, but I ask that you no longer do that, because you know where I stand, I know where you stand, and nothing's changing. So let's try to enjoy the topics we can discuss, or let's try to limit our exposure to each other. You have to have an honest conversation with these people, or they're never going to change. They're never going to stop. And you can't try to change them. The only thing you can change is yourself. So you just have to meet them where they are and appreciate them for what they're trying to do, but be honest with them. Number 4, get out of your comfort zone. I know you love your couch. I know you love your Netflix, but I promise you, going on a hike is way more fun. It's way more fun, especially when there's friends and you're playing something like Cards Against Humanity while you're hiking. And I'm not talking like a rigorous hike, guys. I'm talking like going up, a small mountain where you can walk it. There's not big like cliffs you have to climb or anything like that. It's just walking up a mountain. And you're playing a game the whole time. Maybe you're playing Bop It and passing it back and forth. I'm telling you guys, the people around you will probably be assholes, but you'll have a good time. Make sure that you're getting out of your comfort zone, because the best inventions and the best innovative ideas are actually created outside of comfort zones. Benjamin Franklin, he only slept about 4 hours a night. He kept a cup in his hand, and he'd fall asleep on his armchair. And when the cup fell out of his hand and hit the floor, he'd wake up. And when he woke up, he'd start his day. And this was his way of staying productive, of coming up with solutions to fix the United States, to make it into what it is, to mold it into a land he dreamed of when he was under oppression. So I bet that was pretty uncomfortable. But thanks to him, we have the land of the free, the home of the brave. Take Elon Musk. He was bullied his entire childhood. He was, an immigrant. He had one of the roughest childhoods, but he grew up and invented all these phenomenal things. He doesn't hold a grudge. He's just learned to live his life on his own terms. Gary Vaynerchuk. He was an entrepreneur as a kid, long before it was cool, and in a time when school was everything to most parents, and he was actually failing at it. Look who he is today. A front investor on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. He's doing well for himself. Entrepreneurial route was his way to go. School would never have worked for him. But society likes to fit everybody into the same mold. Go to school, get good grades, go to college, get a job, get benefits, and retire, because that's how it works. That wasn't a path for these people. None of the people I've mentioned. It just wasn't a path for them. So sometimes the path of least resistance for others is actually a path of heartbreak for entrepreneurs and people like-minded. So take Tony Robbins. He grew up in an abusive household. Now look at him now. He empowers people each and every day, coaches people through their hardest of times because he's been there. He knows what tough shit is. Nikola Tesla, he battled gambling addictions, among other issues, but he made enormous scientific and mathematical breakthroughs. While he was going through these struggles, he didn't sleep. He battled visions of math problems and science issues. They were in his mind all night long. So he really didn't sleep, but he still made these enormous breakthroughs. The best things in life are on the other side of your comfort zone. Make it a daily goal to get outside of your comfort zone. If you're afraid of heights, or you hate trying new foods, or you prefer to stay at home rather than venture out and explore new hidden shops downtown, just find some way to learn something new, doing something you wouldn't normally do. Because when I started saying yes to things that I normally wouldn't say yes to, like, hosting fucking trivia, or talking to thousands of people on a podcast, or doing live videos when my hair wasn't looking so great, or posting stuff on LinkedIn because I had this stigma that was only for professionals and I wasn't a professional because I thought so low of myself. When I started doing the things that I wouldn't normally do, opportunities started to come my way. It was crazy shit. It was like I started learning the Nordic language and I started getting job offers. They may not have been correlated in life, but because I was opening myself up to opportunities in one realm, opportunities in another realm started presenting themselves. So just remember that when you're open to these things, it's like the law of attraction. More things will come your way. Number 5, choose to see each of your struggles in life as an opportunity to learn. Each failure that you have is actually a lesson to be learned. Don't spend each day in fear of failure. Learn to embrace it and strive to learn more, even if it means failing more. We shouldn't be so scared of failure that we stay stuck in place. I've been there, done that. It sucks. Nothing is worse than the feeling of regret. The fear of failure cannot outweigh the feeling of regret. Because I promise you, the what ifs you're going to have, what if I would have jumped out of that airplane? I could have met up with Elon Musk at the bottom. I didn't know he was there that day, but he was. And my friend Stacy got to meet Elon Musk and I didn't. And what if I would have jumped out and I didn't? That's going to be far worse than that fear of, oh my God, what if I jump out this plane? Because Will Smith said it best. You spend the whole night just going through the what if I jump out and there's no chute? And you scare yourself to death. You spend the whole night not sleeping in fear, and you wake up the next day, and the second you step out of that plane, everything's gone. The fear's gone. Anxiety's gone. You're just free falling. And he said it's the most wonderful feeling of bliss. That's what getting out of your comfort zone daily feels like. It gives you energy and the exhilaration to succeed in any realm. Even if it's just a workout, like maybe you don't like doing push-ups, but you start incorporating them into like leg days and stuff. You start finding that you don't mind push-ups so much, and you're open to other exercises, and your muscles start getting defined in ways they weren't before. And because you're more healthy, you're more physically toned, you start getting opportunities in other realms, like social atmospheres, or you get invited to a party or a soccer game, something like that. Just be open. Number 6, this is one of my favorites, guys. Don't let anyone convince you that your physical or mental health isn't important. Take your sick days. Use your vacation days. Exercise. Eat right. Take your fucking vitamins. And don't listen to people that don't live with the consequences of your actions. I tell you guys every week, you don't need a personal trainer to work out, but if you desire one, but you can't afford one, Fitbod, an amazing solution. You can target your entire workout. You can pick which muscles you want to target for a workout, tell it how long you have, like an hour or 30 minutes, and it'll create a workout, a custom-made workout for you based on the equipment you have on hand. And guys, what's even better is I partnered with these people just so I could get you a discount. Seriously. Go to the episode links and you'll see it. But it's Megan25. If you type in that code, when you go to sign up, you get 25% off. So you're getting, a personal trainer would normally cost you a minimum of $60 an hour, right? This membership for a whole year is like $50. You get 25% off that. That's a steal. That is a steal. So there's your physical health taken care of right there. Track your food through things like MyFitnessPal or MyPlate or whatever. Take your fucking vitamins. The only companies I trust are Advocare, Nutrilite, and there's a new company called Care Of. I'm a big fan of this. Just from what I'm seeing right now, I've been doing research on this company for a while, and I'll be honest, I'm about to place my first order with them, and I'm excited to see what they have. They actually have affordable vitamins that don't have a wax coating. Similar to Nutrilite doesn't have a wax coating as well, so everything's dissolved as soon as it hits your stomach, basically. Supplements that do have a wax coating, sometimes you only get a third of the effect from because they are not digested. You actually excrete them before they're broken down in your system so you can get the effects. So just remember that. Look for the ones that don't have a wax coating, but Care Of seems to have some really good affordable supplements. Everything from plant protein to vitamin packs. There was like quick sticks, like on-the-go nutrients and stuff like that. It's very, very similar to what I found in Nutrilite with like their Double X and stuff that's on the go, plant proteins. They seem very similar to each other. They're just different prices. So if you're looking for maybe something that doesn't cost as much, Care Of might be your way to go. I can't promise if it'll be the same. I don't know about the quality yet because I haven't used it. But I'll let you know. I'll update you guys. I'll film my ordering it, film my receiving it, and then opening my first packet. But basically, just take care of yourself. Because I let people tell me in law enforcement for years that my mental health was not important. My need to have a day away from the place was not important. That because my unit was short, that I wasn't allowed to go home and mourn the death of a loved one. I don't think you should ever stay with a job that doesn't appreciate you, doesn't value you, and doesn't care about you. When people treat you like that, let them fucking go. They're going to dig themselves a hole that they're not going to be able to climb out of. So do what you got to do to take care of yourself. Your mental and physical health are important. You need sleep. Get your 7 hours, get your 8 hours. Whatever your body needs to function, get it. And don't fucking listen to people that don't live with the consequences of your actions. If you don't sleep enough, guess who's got to stay with that the rest of the day? You. If you get too hammered drunk with friends the night before because they talked you into drinking too much, and you got to go into work the next day, guess who has to deal with the hangover? You. So just think about that stuff. Don't let people talk you into doing stuff you don't want to do. Really think about the consequences of doing them. Number 7, your habits literally make or break your future. Shitty habits equals a shitty existence, and mindful and positive habits actually equal an amazing future. So track your habits. I have a habit tracker that I make myself in a journal, but there's also apps that you can use. Just be mindful. Don't make habit goals in terms of what not to do, like quit smoking. Instead, try adding a new habit to replace that of smoking, whether it's run 2 miles or eat a celery stick. If you need to replace an oral fixation with another, write a habit on there that says eat 2 celery stalks. When you would normally pick up a cigarette, pick up celery. There's so many different things you can do. There's studies based on it. But when you try to make a habit based on what not to do, your mind actually can't tell the difference between do and don't commands. So when you put down something like don't tell that secret, all your mind reads is tell that secret. So when you put down something like quit smoking, all it sees is smoking. So instead of focusing on what not to do, because all your mind's going to do is focus on doing that thing, just forget about it. Don't even put it on the list. Just replace it with something else. And before you know it, you'll be so caught up in focusing on that one thing you want to replace it with that you'll forget all about that bad habit you were trying to replace. It works. Seriously, I've done it over and over and over and over again. So number 8, money is not the root of all evil. In fact, it's a tool that can be used to help nations create innovative solutions for environmental problems. And it's so much more. It's a tool to create gifts. There are people that when they get power and they get money and they get influence, they become toxic and overbearing and do bad shit. Hitler. I could give you a ton of examples off the top of my head, but money didn't make them that way. They already had that line within them. It was only when they gained power and influence money together that they did those things. They were already bad fucking people making bad decisions. If you make bad decisions now and you're broke, if you don't correct that behavior and then you get handed a fuckload of money, nothing's going to change. You're going to blow through that money, doing stupid shit, making bad decisions, and you're going to be broke again. It's an endless cycle. But don't blame money. Blame your fucking self. So don't use money as an excuse not to succeed. Don't say, I'm not going to take that job because that salary is too much and that's just too much money. I don't deserve that much money. Or I don't take a job based on money. Or, it's okay. It's okay. Don't turn down a bonus. A lot of people do some stupid fucking shit because they think that money has a bad stigma to it. It doesn't. I don't recommend chasing a career for money. We talked about that. But I do recommend trying to make some kind of money. I'm not going to hound you for your hustle. I'm not going to be mad because you're hustling. I'm going to congratulate you for getting out there and making your fucking dreams happen and not just sitting around expecting things to just fall into place, because they don't. You have to put some positive energy out into the world to get some positive energy back. Positive output elicits positive input. Just remember that. Number 9. This one's about relationships. Not every breakup is the other person's fault. If you've been through 6 to 7 relationships in the last year alone, guess what the common denominator is? You. So those people may have had some self-growth work to do. They may have had some growing to do. They may have had some bad faults or whatever. But at the end of the day, so do you. Why did you get into those relationships? Did you notice the same issues presenting themselves over and over and over again? Maybe it's because you haven't tried to work on yourself yet. So what I recommend doing is sit down and make a list of some characteristics or traits that you want your future somebody to have. Your perfect somebody. What would you dream that they would do for a living? What would they look like? Everything. details. Be as specific and picky as you want. No one is going to crucify you for it because it's your list. Be as bold as you want to be. And when you're done, I want you to create another list of traits that you think that person would want in their future spouse. Then when you're done, start growing yourself based on that list of traits. Because when you do, you'll find that you won't have to go find your future somebody. You'll be so focused building yourself that they'll find you. And when they do, you'll actually be ready for that relationship. And it will be the healthiest fucking relationship you've ever had. But relationships aren't easy. They don't come easy. They don't just occur. They don't just happen overnight. You have to actively work towards them. If you're not working on yourself, you don't deserve to have a good one. If you're not trying to be the best person you can be for that other person, then it's probably not going to be a successful relationship. Number 10, don't live your life based on the limitations others placed on you at an early age. As a child, talking to strangers got you in trouble. As an adult, talking to strangers gets you opportunities. So I want you to sit down and write a list of things that your mom or your dad or brothers or aunties, uncles, grandparents would spank you for or tell you not to do or would force consequences upon you if you did them. Write a list of those things and compare them to the present. Are there things that you were told not to do then that might actually be helpful now in your circumstance? Not taking into account their lives, their opinions, what they would think of you. No, only you, your opinion, what you think of you, and how it could affect your current situation. Sit down and make a list. In case you guys didn't know, I make a list. I love lists. I can't help it. So after you've done that, and you've taken a good, long, hard look at yourself, I want you to write a list of your own terms to live by and stick to it. Not rules, but values, ideas. Like, I want to talk to enough strangers to where I get enough opportunities to, invest in a new business or whatever the case is. But keep a list and revamp them from time to time. Don't hold yourself within the lines of a life someone else drew for you decades ago. And with that, guys, that's the 10 things I've learned in 10 years, a full decade. There's a lot more stuff I've learned than that, but those are the highlights. The things that I think more people need to learn today, the things that are affecting the most people today. I think these are the things that more people need to talk about and get focused on. So hopefully this helps some of you. And if you haven't read it yet, make sure you check out The Last Lecture. It's an excellent book, and you can get a lot of brain activity from it. So with that, guys, I'm peacing out. We're going to go see the women's soccer team play in Charlotte tonight. I am stoked. And I hope you guys get to check it out if you're soccer fans. If not, I'll be sure to give you the highlights on the Instagram feed. It'll be full of shenanigans, slapdickery, and we may storm the field. I don't know. But by the time you hear this, it'll be Friday, so you'll know. All right, guys. Hope you have a wonderful weekend. Happy Friday. Peace.